Plastic crack is a thing.
I totally am in on the plastic crack.
I think plastic crack is a perfect description, because once you get addicted, you gotta have your next fix. Where's the next big thing?
I mean, I guess I kind of resonate with the plastic crack analogy. Yeah, for sure.
I'm just a user. I'm a heavy user, I guess.
I agree. I mean, it is plastic crack. Once you get that one piece, you're hooked.
You know what? There is no misdiagnosing plastic crack.
Welcome to Plastic Chats, the special interviews of the Plastic Crack documentary series. And today's topic is...
Let's shred the Cowabunga.
So, let's start the show!
Hi everyone, my name is Guillermo Olivo and welcome to Plastic Chats. Plastic Chat is an additional content for the Plastic Crack documentary series. For those of you in the future, we recorded these episodes during the 2020 pandemic, while some of us were still in quarantine. Today we have a super cool, super Cowabunga special episode. And there was no way to find a better guest for today's topic. All the way from down under, from the lovely Australia, I would like to welcome my guest today.
Let's meet our guest!
Ben Sachse. How are you, Ben?
I'm really good, thank you. Couldn't be better.
So it's like, this was a little bit challenging to book because it's like late night for me and your day just started, correct?
Correct. Yes. So I've just literally gotten up, had a quick shower, had the cup of coffee and, got the motor functions working in my body and now I'm ready to rock and roll. So, yeah.
This is always a good way to start a day talking toys, isn't it?
I wouldn't have it any other way. So, yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much for being here today. It goes without saying for those listening, he's surrounded with Masters of the Universe beauty. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about it.
So in the background, I've got my Masters of the Universe classics, and I don't think anyone that jumped on the line at the start could envision it to last almost 10 years. And that it did. It went through two different companies. It went from Matty Collector and jumped over to Super 7. They kept the ball rolling. Almost up to 2011. It almost went up to 2019, and before it came to a grinding halt. But we've still got awesome things to look forward to, like Snake Mountain and everything like that. Unfortunately, I can't fit in my toy room. I've got to, draw the line with space and things. But I'm still.
So you're not expecting a mountain?
No, I've got the castle, but I just couldn't justify the price, the shipping, the scale and size.
Bet. I mean, that's an issue that I'm fully aware of, and I live abroad half of my life, so it wasn't as bad as Australia in the sense of shipping. But I'm fully aware, and for conversations that we had before, that I'm fully supportive of those who live abroad, and when I see shelves like that, I take my hats off because I know that you didn't just walk into a store and got some of them. Like, you have to pay sometimes even double that normal. Correct?
Well, it was almost, I was paying $20 back in the day for the figure and then $20 shipping. So it was an expensive toy line to collect, and that was pre-meeting the other local people that were collecting the same line. So I was getting one figure delivered to me at a time before very late in the line I jumped on board with some other local mates, and we were able to pull our orders together and save on shipping. But it's a line of passion. It's a line that opened my eyes to the deeper history of the Masters of the Universe. Mm-hmm. It was at a fantastic time of my life that I was able to jump on at the very start, seeing the ads and things in the old Toy Fair magazines, and I'll jump on for He-Man and Skeletor, and I can't miss out on Beastman, and it just went on from there. And I've collected the entire line. I'm just missing maybe 3 or 4 figures, and most of them are variants.
Complete. Wow.
Yes. Yep.
How bad is the shipping cost for the Snake Mountain all the way to Australia?
It's well over $1,000 for us. So I think it's it's too much money. It's that threshold of space and how much am I invested into getting a new toy versus what I can get a vintage toy, for the same price.
Yeah.
So
for the square feet that it will the retail the real estate that it will commandeer and the allocation that you have to pay for it, you can buy so much. I understand. And again, hats off to Australian collectors because even though with those challenges, you guys have I have seen amazing collections coming from Australia. But you mentioned mates, and we're talking about the whole community in Australia. You're also a podcaster of a show that I actually love and enjoy. Tell me about your show.
Yeah, so we are part of Toy Power Podcast. Myself, Trent, Darren, and Frank. We catch up weekly and podcast. We're up to about 180 episodes deep into our podcast now, so we're not beginners by any means. And we talk about everything from vintage to modern toys, news, retrospectives, what it feels like to be an Australian trying to collect toys, and what we're missing out on sometimes. But we have our ways, and as I said before, we pull our resources together and try and order bulk lots so we can save on shipping, rather than each ordering one unit at a time. So it works out better that way.
Have an amazing dynamic. I really enjoy your show. Each one of you brings something to the table, even though with the fact that I'm a huge G.I. Joe collector, and I know that Frank sets the crossing line there, and he's like, even with that fact, I'm just kidding. I'm truly enjoy your show, and that I enjoy talking to each one of you. But we
do have just a bit of a teaser. We do have a G.I. Joe episode in the works, and something very special to mark that G.I. Joe episode, because we are unfortunately not experts by any means of G.I. Joe. So we've got something special to make sure it's covered well. So
that's awesome.
Look out for that one coming in the future.
That's awesome. Or in the past, depends on where this episode airs.
Yes.
But if regardless of timeline, but look it up. I cannot wait to hear Frank's opinions on that show.
Well, it's going to be a surprise, that's for sure. So yeah.
Oh, that sounds great. But you're also a heavy Transformers collector, correct?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Mainly G1 because that's sort of where my memories start from and things. And my very first Transformer was Soundwave. The cool story behind that is the reason maybe I'm such a passionate toy collector is instead of my parents buying me lollies and things to entertain me at the store, they would buy me a little Matchbox car or a Hot Wheels car or a toy, so to speak. So there's a famous photo that circles around our family of my brother being born, day 26th of December, 1986, and I'm holding Soundwave on my lap.
Wow.
So that was sort of their way of saying, Ben, here you go, congratulations, you're a brother now. You go and be quiet and play with your new toy, and we'll mind, little old Andrew. So
Soundwave was one of the coolest ones from my perspective of G1, but at the same time, it was expensive, regardless of country.
Yeah. I'm not sure about prices and things, but it was very close to Christmas, being the late December. So maybe it was a bit of a early Christmas present, so to speak, and they just gave me to keep me quiet and keep me out of the way while they deal with the newborn baby.
Try to compensate with the new baby, so let's get expensive toys. I don't know if it happens to you. I recently moved and I have to trim down, and regrettably, one of the things that got a hit because of real estate was Transformers. So, but I kept the sums that I couldn't just let go. And I went in the last few years, I went deeply into modern stuff, and I even got all the way to the Siege line. But I have to choose, and it's in one of the rooms, and so Transformers pretty much are out of the equation. But I kept some of them, and one of them happens to be Soundwave. I don't know if this happens to you, but and this is going to sound crazy, but I'm pretty sure people in the audience will resonate. Every time that I see Soundwave, I hear the way he talked. Does that happen to you?
Oh, definitely. He's just got one of the coolest voices, and they just did him so well. And he just was that, you know, he was just Megatron's side, you know, a sideman type thing. And he wasn't devious like Starscream or anything. He was, you know, honorable and everything. And he had those little cassettes that jumped out of his chest. So he was so playable and so likable. And, you know, he had his own little army, so to speak. So
but the voice work definitely was a very essential
100%.
element there, because it happens to me too with Megatron and Starscream, and I it's just, it sounds geeky, but I think we're in a safe place to be geeky. But with Soundwave, I can't just help. Every time that I look at that piece, I go Soundwave, you know, or Megatron, like, Prime. But since we're getting into that, we're just talking about Joes and talk about Transformers. You're also heavy hitter with the Battle Beasts, correct?
Yes, well, I love my Battle Beasts. I got onto them sort of as a sort of a reminder of you know, this little line that came to Australia and these little things. And I don't actually, unfortunately, recall many having as a kid.
Okay.
But one day I was out hunting at one of the toy fairs, and I picked up the little giraffe and the little fox, and that kicked it all off. Finding those
plastic crack.
Yeah. So I've since then collected all 76 of the original Battle Beasts, and I've got one Laser Beast, and they're all complete with their weapons and things, which is fantastic. Wow. But because I'm, you know, I couldn't stop there, and I just have a fascination. I've got 23 of the triple threat snakes as a bit of an army builder.
Wow.
And I know there's people out there that have hundreds and things, but it's hard to collect them in Australia. They are so obscure and hard to find.
Right? Especially complete. If you're trying to get them loose, I'm pretty sure it's like, I know, like I said, I live way too many years, like half of my life I spent abroad, and I know how hard it is to get things out there. So I don't know from my own perspective, Australia, but based on not just your when we interact and where we chat, but like I know a lot of collectors from there, and I know it's a struggle. So hats off to have an army building to get to that point.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that you got them late in the game and not as a kid. And so that takes me to Aliens and Predators, right?
Yes. So Aliens and Predator is a massive, huge fan of that property. I saw those movies way too early, and they sort of scared me a lot, but also, you know, bribed me full of energy. Oh my gosh, you know, I like being scared, so to speak.
Okay.
And I remember seeing a display in a toy store of the Kenner Alien and Predator line, and I was just blown away by these. They make horror toys. I couldn't wrap my little kid brain around that, like these horror toys. And then later on, I couldn't afford them because they were like $15 or something each. And later on, I went to another chain store, and they were clearancing them for $4 each. Wow. And all of a sudden, at $4 each, I could buy 5 at once, you know, for the price of, you know, one I could have purchased a year or two ago. So I started to buy them all. My brother bought a couple, and I built quite a collection fairly fast at that price point. And then many years later, I turned 16, and my mate for my birthday gave me an Aliens comic by Dark Horse. Okay. And I never knew that I wasn't big into comics and things. I didn't know they made horror comics. I knew the superheroes existed, but I didn't know they made that. And that kicked me off. That was sort of the dividing point in my life of being a kid toy collector and playing with toys, or hiding my toys from, you know, girls, and I'm too old for toys, to becoming hey, there's a universe out there aimed at adults, aimed at mature fans and things. So I jumped onto that property pretty quick, and then started to rebuy my Kenner Alien and Predator toys, mint on card, from toy stores and things. So that was the catalyst. That line was a catalyst to that amazing toy room that you have, right? Yeah. So that'll kicked it off, and then I was right there ready when McFarlane brought their Aliens and Predator toy lines to their movie Maniacs.
Great match,
And
yeah.
I'd never seen realistic, toys sculpted for adults. That blew my mind.
Right.
So that was a huge turning point in that 1999 era that they were making now not only comics for adults, but now toys, screen accurate toys for adults. So
Correct.
It was just
they were
insane.
growing up with us as well as
Correct.
toy makers. And yeah, I mean, I'm not into Aliens or Predators. I have a few of the reaction lines because I like the everything in my collection is Street Reporters. But there was this big deal for a big lot, and I just thought like, well, maybe one day I'll do a diorama of an invasion of the USS Flag, and I just put a lot of aliens in there.
For sure.
So I got them, and I have a few carded.
They were going to make those 3 3/4 in the 1978 sort of line, but they made the big chap, and that was about where they stopped. So
Correct.
it was a line that was meant to be, and that sort of kicked off the reaction line for that Envision.
However, we're here today to talk, and we can have, 20 episodes, and we can talk about 20 different items and 20 different subjects. But we're here today to talk about some very strange green teenagers that happens to be mutant, that happens to be turtles, and that they're rollerblade or. Were you saying that you were on rollerblades before?
Yeah, I just said to wake up. I got on my roller skates and got ready pretty quickly to be here today. So yeah.
Cowabunga, dude.
That's it.
But we're not gonna just talk about the turtles, and I'm pretty sure I know that you did. But if you saw the first season of Plastic Crack, Dylan Kramer has an amazing collection there. Bobby's 80s, Robert Buckberry, we get to see a piece of, because with Robbie's worth a full episode just with the amount of toys and knowledge and he has taken the time to educate himself, and now he's super open to share stuff. So there's a myriad of turtles in those episodes if you want to get a piece of that. However, I didn't just want, I'm making that disclaimer because I'm not trying to say that we're not going to talk about turtles. I want to talk about a very specific part of the turtles. So let's move into the subject. But before we move into the subject, I need to make an editing point there. Before we move into the subject, we have this segment where we show what we just recently find or any recent purchase. So show me what you got.
Show me what you got.
Oh yeah, so in the form of a Ninja Turtle, I've recently picked up Slash, and this is from the NECA toy line. This is Slash from the video game. Okay. But the reason I gravitate to this guy is because he looks very similar to the original toy version, the Playmates toy, much more than how he was depicted in the cartoon. So NECA have a Slash cartoon version coming out soon. But I just really appreciate this Slash
Would
from
you
the
say
video game.
That's probably an 8-inch. How tall is
it? 7-inch toy. I mean, I do have him bent at the knees and things like that, a bit of crouched over and things.
The articulation, though, it looks
very
interesting.
NECA's articulation is beautiful.
Oh yeah, for sure. But that's an amazing find. Congratulations. And was it a local find or was it an online thing?
Well, that's the thing in Australia. I know that in America, you guys got to hunt around at GameStops and Targets and things, and we don't have either of those. We've got Targets here, but they're a different chain of Targets, so we don't get any of the exclusives. We don't have a NECA section in our Targets or anything. We're lucky to find even regular toys.
Neither do we, to be honest with you. It's not like we have a NECA section. Good luck if you find those, actually.
Right. So anyway, we do have a distributor of NECA toys down here at Down Under. So it's readily available. We can order them from our larger store, and there's a local dealer who hooks me up. So I just place an order, have to wait a little while, and bam, he's got them as when he receives them. So pretty awesome.
And why do you like turtles?
I like turtles because it was at that time where I was maturing in age. So you talk about, I was about 8, 9, 10 sort of thing when the Turtle Mania hit the airwaves and things. I knew nothing about the Mirage comics and things before the cartoon hitting the airwaves. So I was mature enough to have fond memories of opening the Turtles, receiving them, begging Mum, can we please get, the 4 Turtles? I can't, go without, sort of thing. Requesting, hunting the toy aisles for the toys. I love my Masters of the Universe. I love my G1 Transformers, but my memories are very spotty of them, seeing them in the toy aisles and things, where I've got such clear memories of hunting toy aisles and requesting Turtles figures on the toy shelves.
But like I told Bobby when we did his interview, talking about Turtles requires 13 episodes, a full season just dedicated to that, because you just said the 4 Turtles, and we can focus on the Renaissance artists and very well known pizza eaters, but there's the military version, the football version, the wrestler, that there's so many that I get lost.
Right. Yes.
Isn't that such a... I always think that that's such a crazy line to collect, because it seems that there are way too many of each.
Yeah, and it's difficult because some of the later lines, they might have put out Leo, Donnie, and Raph, but there's no Michelangelo, or there's no Leonardo for the Lee Turtles or something for the Savage Dragon line, and so it's that you're missing one of the Turtles, or they might put out 2 Turtles and not do the other 2. So it's a collector's nightmare to have it all beautiful along the shelves, because they just didn't finish the line sometimes. So
let alone find them.
Yes. Well, that deterred me from collecting, going deeper back in the day, because I'd go to the store pegs and there'd be just variants of Turtles. So that in turn stopped me collecting Turtles and going deeper, and then I thus found other toy lines to collect.
But it sounds like you're a completist based on your Battle Beast and everything that you said so far. So how are you coping with this? How are you? How a completist walk into that sewer? To Sprinter's lair and voluntarily and fully aware of what's happening.
So I'm with my Turtles. I have very strict ideas of what I want in my collection. What I remember and what I like, so to speak, what I aesthetically like and things. However, there is one character, and that's obviously Shredder, which we were planned to talk about. That's the character that I warm to the most. I've got fond memories of getting him, as a kid and things. And that's the character that I'm going deep on for the line. That's been my, internet handle. Anything I jump on online, it's always Shredder. We might go down to the bowling alley and everyone just types in, Joe, Mark, and I'm Shredder, just to mix things up, just to make things a bit fun. And Shredder's my boy. I just think he's amazing. And I've always warmed to him ever since I was a kid. I'm a big villains fan, so yeah.
Nice. But with that tease, let's walk into today's the topic of today's episode.
And today's topic is...
Let's shred the Cowabunga.
So let's assume that there's someone listening who actually has no idea what are we talking about. Who's Shredder?
So he's the enemy of the Turtles. He's the, predates sort of the Turtles becoming Turtles. He was sort of a Hamato Yoshi, which is Splinter's enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And however, in the Mirage comics, he was only a one and done villain. So he was in the first issue and he essentially got killed. So Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, they didn't have any envisions of him being a bigger character. But because the comic book took off and everything, they felt they needed to bring back the first villain the Turtles, fought against. So they brought him back several times throughout the run. But it's funny because in the original Mirage comics, he was only in about 5 issues or something total throughout the whole run. And for him to get such a huge spotlight in the cartoons and every other reiteration since. It's quite ironic, I find.
Well, you kind of have that freedom in a comic book. Like you can give yourself that license, but on a cartoon, and especially back then, you kind of needed that structure to build your story. And of course, the antagonist was always a main need that the story sat on that. I remember back in the day that I used to say, like, can we just pause for a minute and address the elephant in the room, that there's a giant rat in the corner calling the shots. That was something that was freaky. But yes. So your username in this connection says Shredder, and I believe your IG name is also Shredder.
Yes. Yeah.
And why Shredder? Besides the fact that you like the bad guys.
Well, I mean, he was, as I said before, like growing up in the early 90s sort of thing, when of a more mature age that I can remember everything. I remember receiving Shredder from the toy aisle. I remember having a choice of all the Turtles, all the characters that were there at the time, and deciding, no, I need Shredder, and just appreciating him so much. I love his mask and everything. I love that.
Oh, he's cool. I'll give you that. It looks cool, and the mask and he's like the perfect villain, if you like, and those spiky blades and the look was there. I give you that. But why are you so connected to it?
I just you take my chat about aliens and things. Seeing a more mature side of toy lines and of properties and things. When I saw the 1990s movie, that more darker feel and that more mature feel and things, seeing Shredder on screen, seeing him so intimidating, he just blew my mind. He was sort of that arch evil character that he's all, clumsy and things in the cartoon and always losing and things. This version on the screen could have beaten the Turtles. He had an army at his disposal, and he wasn't taking any slack from anyone, so to speak. He was going to rule the world.
And you click with that.
Definitely.
Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. But so it wasn't the cartoon. It was actually the movie, the Shredder version in the movie that got your appeal, which was kind of scary for a young.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I probably jumped on like everyone else did with the cartoons and got to know the property through that. But then seeing the movie, that emphasized my passion and dedication and love for the overall franchise and the Shredder and things like that. So
okay, so let's jump on the subject. Although we're already talking about that, but we're here for our plastic crack fix. So let's jump to the very beginning and let's talk about the very first Shredder out there. That, if I recall correctly, is like on a weird pose, like leaning down, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah. So he's we've got Shredder from 1988, and this one's here's my Shredder from 88. I've got him carded and AFA graded at 75, so not absolutely perfect, but still warranted.
Graded. I know the feeling of the acrylic crack, which is another layer of the addiction to have things in acrylic.
Yeah, so he's posed in a sort of hunched over pose, and he's bent at the knees and things. And the reason is apparently the sculptors were told to keep the Turtles and the villains and things all at the same height. So they couldn't breach that heightness for the Shredder, even though he's predominantly tall. So they came up with the idea of, let's hunch him over. There's a famous pose in one of the comics where he's posed over and fist in hand and arms stretched out, ready to jump off the building, saying something like, you're here to meet your doom or something.
Right.
And so they took Batman. A lot of, yes.
Uh-huh.
So they took a lot of inspiration from that pose, that comic panel, and posed him like that. So if he was standing up, he would then be much taller and than the Turtles. But because they couldn't do that, they found other means to hunch him over. And
were you okay with that? I mean, I found the figure super cool back in the day. I never collected Turtles. That's not my thing. But that always was like a moment for me. Well, why this figure? It looks like he's about to attack, but on a permanent mode.
Yeah, I mean that's the in my little kid brain, and you know, you've got to wipe the rose tinted glasses of nostalgia away. I see nothing wrong with him. He's the one I've always known. I didn't know any better. I have an enormous passion for him. Probably the biggest call out is he's got no shirt on, so he's just got his ripped abs and showing and things. So, you know, that could be also an inspiration to get fit and, you know, also walk around topless all the time and show off your awesome body.
A connection to Motu as well, right?
Yes, 100%. Yeah. So all he's got is his cape and his pants and things and his weapons on his wrists and stuff. But yeah, it's the only one I know. You know, it's covered in nostalgia. And I have, you know, he will always be my number one, even though we've got some.
Oh, really? So
you know,
the 1988 is your top 10. It's at the top of your top 10 list. That's interesting. Yeah. That's interesting. So starting that journey back in time, and in order to keep to stay within the format, this is 1980. So let's move forward 1990, and we have a Slice and Dice Shredder.
Correct.
Okay.
Slice and Dice Shredder.
Keep that in the camera for a bit so we can take this in. And
sure.
And why? Okay, what am I looking at? It says
Wacky
Action.
Yeah, Wacky Action Shredder. So in to fall in line with the other Turtles. So all the Turtles got the Wacky Action features, and so did Splinter. And I think the Rocksteady and Bebop did as well. So Wacky Action, he comes with some awesome weapons, some sickles and things like that. He's got attachments for his shoulders and things that when you wind him up, they all spin in different directions and things. So it's pretty cool. It's like a big cheese grater. And I've got him carded and loose and everything. And this one, you'll notice he's actually standing. Okay. So he's at the same height as the Turtles, not hunched over and things.
So shrink him. They shrink him pretty
much. Correct. Yeah, they shrink him, but also, you know, to keep him height-wise with the Turtles and things. This one I've got a big appreciation for because he's a very similar color scheme to what he was depicted in the Mirage comics and also the movie. So he's got that more... That
movie
you know,
vibe.
Yes. He's got an awesome-looking helmet, even though his eyes are quite cartoon-looking. But he's a very, very cool.
Well, I gotta give you the fact that that line in general, not just that figure, but the line in general, the play function, and the vehicles. I mean, for a young kid to be at that very moment and to actually enjoy the cartoons and get into the line, I'm pretty sure the memories are more than overwhelming because.
Yes.
It looks like something, I don't have that experience myself, but it looks like something that you could have a lot of fun playing with.
Oh, for sure. And there's plenty of comeback to, you know, fun factors with changing all these, you know, parts and things like that. And just, you know, that wind him up and smacking the Turtles around and knocking them over. So, yeah.
Perfect. So let's keep moving in towards the future. And this one is on asteroids, right? Because it's Super Shredder.
So Super Shredder, yes. So I am big. So this is the only movie depiction that Playmates put out. So this is Super Shredder from the Secret of the Ooze toy line. So they never did toys for the 1990 film. They deemed it a bit too mature, and they weren't sure how well the toys would sell. So they skipped that movie, and then were pretty quick to produce toys for the second film because they saw an instant hit in their hands. So they made the Shredder in his second form. When he takes a mutagen into Super Shredder and he destroys the wharf scene. And this guy is enormous, even though he's shrunk down into same size as the Turtles.
Right.
So his scale's all wrong.
Just put everyone, right, scale-wise.
Yeah.
It doesn't, but he looks mean, and it looks like, you know, like someone that can beat all of them together, right?
Oh, for sure. He's definitely cool. He's got huge shoulder pads to make him look bigger and everything. He's
He also looks
really,
like he
really
could
cool.
play the guitar and Kiss.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Watch out, Gene Simmons.
How do you like that one?
I love this one. I never had him as a kid, but I've got a massive appreciation for him. And this particular toy is quite sentimental to me because I picked him up in San Diego Comic-Con 2010 when I was over there for my honeymoon. So it's nice to have a fantastic, snapshot memory of that trip in a shredder form.
Your wife must love you a lot because you went to San Diego for a honeymoon, and coincidentally was during San Diego Comic-Con, or was the whole thing on purpose?
The whole trip was our honeymoon. So we got married in February, and then scheduled our trip for sort of June, July for our trip to San Diego.
Right,
and we went to.
My point is, you knew that it was San Diego Comic-Con happening, right?
Yes,
You just
yes.
squeezed that in the plan.
No, we booked tickets before we booked our accommodation. So we made sure that we had the tickets, and we were actually going to go to the con, and we were lucky to go because each year it just gets harder and harder to obtain tickets since then. So
that's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. That's one way to spend a honeymoon at one of the largest conventions in the world. But so the next one on the line is a very famous mail-away, right?
Yes. So you've got the Chief Barali mail-away, which is, I believe, a soup company that was producing them. And he's all black variant of the Super Shredder. Mm-hmm. Very hard to find these days. And it goes for a pretty penny as well. So
I had one in my hands not so long ago because
wow.
I live less than an hour away from CIS, from Collectors Archive Services, and Justice Curry was doing his first ever grading things, and he asked me to, like, for some weird reason, he preferred to send the items to me for me to take them there. I go to CIS probably every 2 weeks to either pick up something and drop something, and so he's like, well, I'm just gonna send you something, and one of the items that he sent me was that mail away, and I held it in my hand. The fact that it was still sealed in the bag was kind of okay. This looks very interesting, but so is it really that hard to find nowadays?
Every year that passes, it gets harder and harder to find these toys. I'm of the opinion that some of these toys find their forever homes and then never go out in the market again, so to speak. So it does get really hard to find them. Each year that gets older and older because they just don't pop up online, or they go for even more. Yeah.
But I also heard that of course, not fully confirmed, but there was such a short run. Apparently they weren't heavily mass produced, right? No, because these were mail whale exclusive. So you had to get all your bottles in line to get the tokens or whatever you had to do, and then send it off. And I don't think those sort of companies would have put in a huge request initially for the figure. So I don't have numbers, but yeah. I have a thing for Star Wars mail-aways because they were at the peak of their game. I was not living in the States, so hence I used to see it like in Toy Fair magazines or magazines like that, and I'm like, I can't just mail stuff out and get it because I'm living abroad. So later down the road, as an adult, pretty much, I went in a journey to get every single mail away.
Oh wow!
Because living abroad, the mail away game is frustrating.
Yeah, well, we a lot of you know this, but we get excluded over in Australia, so it'll be US only, or the territories or something. So Australia, we don't even get the products, let alone are we allowed to enter most of the time. So it's tough.
It's tough. It is tough. But the big difference on that shredder is that it's all black, correct?
Yes, correct. Yeah, all black with a couple of little silver highlights and things. But so very, very easy custom to make if you decide, much like Wonder, the He-Man figure. But if you so choose. But very hard to come by in today's times.
The Wonder Bread, you mean? The
Wonder Bread, yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes,
do you have
sorry,
that one, by the way?
No,
you have one?
no.
But
no, I've got a
custom, right?
I've custom my own because I just can't justify. I'd rather hunt down a Camo Khan over
from Top Toys.
Wonder.
Right.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. That's my
That's your. I know that's one of the things that you want to get your hands on. I don't blame you. But that mailaway has had like an European purple variant. Is that correct?
Yes, it did. Yeah. So the purple European variant did come on a card, and apparently it's very prone to paint flaking and things like that. So if you were to take it out of the card and play with it, a lot of the paint apparently just flakes off very easily. The weapons are really soft as well. They came in like an aqua blue color, and they were really rubbery and soft as well.
Probably
so
a cheaper plastic.
Yeah. For a lower run, definitely cut corners, so to speak.
And is that harder to find than the black one, or?
I believe that is harder again. So I don't know what sort of quantities and things were made of. I've never personally seen one available or anything, but I'm happy not to add them to my collection. There are other things I could justify my money on, but if something came up locally, for sure I'd try and jump on it.
Of course, you'll jump on it. But that's a smart approach to it. Now, so let's keep moving forward. 1993, Mutation.
Yes. So we've got Mutation Shredder. Yes. And this is him in his Shredder form.
It looks like a samurai.
Correct, yeah. So the reason he's mutations is he transforms into a Rokusaki, so the human version of Shredder. So if we, I'll just take off his helmet here. He's got a really nice face sculpt.
Tight. Okay.
Really nice face sculpt.
What was his full name? I remember.
Arukasaki. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So he transforms into that. There's his armor and things flips over and stuff. He's a really cool looking figure, and one of the only depictions of Urokusaki in the Playmates line. So he's kind of special in that respect. And for the 2003 line, they essentially copied this mold and this transformation sequence into a more modern version. So it's like for like toy depiction.
Oh wow! Well,
so
yeah,
fun fact.
I like the fact that it looks not completely different, but it's a whole different, technically a different character when you remove the mask. Like it looks more like it doesn't even look that mean actually. It looks like a nicer version, right?
Yes.
And but in the same year, you have a Toon Shredder, according to the list that we put together before we started the show.
Yes, Toon Shredder. So this is heralded in a lot of people's minds as one of the best depictions of Shredder, because this is how everybody remembers him from the cartoon. This is the accurate color scheme he was depicted. He's got a shirt on this time, which is noteworthy.
They dress him up.
That's right. And he's fantastic. And one other little noteworthy thing is on his helmet, above his eyebrows, they actually painted it correctly. So in the original one, they left the top of his helmet above his eyebrows clear. So they painted it skin tone. Okay. So his eyebrows are sitting on the brim of his helmet. And this one, they fixed it up. So now Super 7, when they're releasing their original homage to the 88 one, you get a second head. And that one is also unpainted with the big giant eyebrows sitting on top of the rim, and people said why.
They were probably trying to stay true to the
they were
release.
Yeah. No one's going to use that helmet, but what a fantastic nod to the original sort of in air quotations marks mistake that they made. So a bit
Super
of a snapshot in history.
Is very good doing that. Like they do it in every single. There's this alien that resembles Hammerhead from the Star Wars line, because the Hammerhead was the mold that they use, and that they always do that type of stuff. I really like when Super 7 pulls that out. But so, do you think that this version is basically an upgraded version of the original one?
It's an upgrade version using exactly the same mold. So it's an upgrade in the sense that they finally made Shredder in the color scheme that everybody wanted, fit in well with the rest of the toy line and things. And for those that are wanted a unshirtless Shredder, they finally got him, so to speak.
So for those more conservatives in terms of that's hilarious. But let's move forward to 1994, and we have a Cyber Samurai Shredder.
Cyber Samurai, but we also, before we jump on there, we've also got 93, the Mutations Road Ready Shredder, and this transforms into the drill aspect that Shredder is mostly seen, and the other henchmen of the Foot drilling through the earth, because the Technodrome was always underground. So this is the way they made their...
That reminds me of the arcade game.
Yes.
Which I have a story for that. I have a very nice story at the end for that. But so are you telling me that transforms into Shredder?
Yes,
because I can
correct.
see the tip of the...
Yeah.
Oh wow!
So
that's,
you can see through this little porthole Shredder's head, which was always a feature of the Mutations. They always left their heads in the cockpit area of any of the Splinter and the Four Turtles and things. So you can see, if you look closely, you can see Shredder's head poking through there, and he transforms into a very similar looking Shredder to the '88 version, shirtless and things like that, standing up. But because of this base bit, somewhere the transformation's got to go somewhere, so it all folds back into as a cape.
Right.
So he's very, very back heavy, so to speak.
You have a design challenge there, so to speak.
Yes.
Right.
Correct.
So that's an interesting one, but I guess we're starting to get into the wacky ones, because that one looks completely different than everything that you've shown so far. And
correct. Yeah.
Is it consistent, or do we still heading into that route?
It gets a little bit wacky, and a lot of fans can easily skip these Mutations ones because they are a bit wacky. But then, I argue with them. As I'm a Transformer fan, I love seeing, the efforts made into transformation for in other toy lines. So
I can see why you can click with that. Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
And so jumping into 1994, what was it? The name Cyber Samurai.
We've got Cyber Samurai Shredder. So this is where they sort of started to move into the Japanese market and things, but this had a widespread US release. So this, as you can see, has enormous shoulder pads and things. He's got the whole Shogun.
That doesn't look like a turtle character from my perspective, from my non-known perspective, right? It looks more like a Power Ranger.
True. And they might have been trying to tap into that. They did have a arc in the Archie comics run of the Cyber Samurai, sort of futuristic look into what the Turtles were doing and things. So he has the whole Shogun Warriors where his fists shoot and things.
Nice, like Messenger C and Great Tamajinga.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Now I'm starting to like that.
Yeah, so he's a really cool character, and you can sort of transform him into look like a very mech warrior, or you can take his chest plate off and things and make him look more human-like Shredder.
So they went Nippon, they went Japanese all the way on this one, right?
Yeah. But
adding that mecha element.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. And then also in 1994 they did Shogun Shredder, which was, in my opinion, what was going to look like if he was depicted in the movie 3, because movie 3 did not have Shredder involved in the that film. So this Shredder is fantastic, and I really appreciate it. It's also got the same top armor as shoulder pads as the Super Shredder. However, his face looks quite squashed, as if when they took him out of the mold, they grabbed him by the head and pulled him out of the mold.
you think that was the reason?
Well, I don't know. When I first saw him, I thought that this Shredder's helmet popped off, and that's why he had the sort of mangled face. But that's not true. So he's just got a weird face. But from the shoulders down, he's a absolutely fantastic figure. And this is because of this later release time period. They started releasing alternate colors of weapons. So you find him with pink weapons, blue weapons, some with collector cards, some without.
So they're variants. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh,
so
wow.
So there's you start going down a different channel of variants.
Oh boy, poor you. Like I don't like from a Star Wars perspective. Like variants is already a nightmare, and I can't. Like if they start messing around with the colors of the weapons and they started package them up with different colors, I know that ticks the completest. Like
Yeah, you're in trouble.
You're in trouble. So,
Yeah.
1995.
Yeah, 1995. So they continue to go down the Japanese route, and we've got Super Mutants Shredder. So this is one of the more obscure shredders out there.
That one looks cool.
This one is my favorite, to be honest.
Okay,
This one is, of all the Playmate Shredder, I think this one is just the bomb. This one was hard to find. For me, I had to, especially typing in Super Mutants, it always comes up with Super Shredder. So it's hard just to find him in channels and things. There was a Japanese cartoon that featured this version of Shredder, and he's just his color scheme is just fantastic. He's got the big foot emblem to show his alliance on his chest and things, and his big sickles here on his blades and stuff. He's just so menacing. He's absolutely means business, and he stands quite tall compared to
the turtles.
Of
that line.
Yes, correct.
Okay,
yeah.
so here we finally breached the height difference, and now it doesn't matter that he's taller than the rest, right?
Correct.
But it looks like, from someone that is, again, not into that, it looks like, that looks like a cool figure that I can play with, right?
Yes, for sure. He does come with a weapon which I think is useless, because it's exactly the same color scheme, paint scheme as this purple shade of purple. So it's an extension of his arm, and it's sort of flip out mechanism, but it just doesn't work. I think he's better without weapons. So yeah, just
nice
for those collectors.
1995, right? We're getting into the very crazy years. Metal Mutants.
Metal Mutants Shredder, correct. With Tiger Spirit armor. So this is essentially 2 toys in one. So we're talking, he's got the armor of the Tiger Spirit, and these all detachable. So you can take all this beautiful chrome armor off him, and all this beautiful chrome armor then transforms into a little chrome tiger that can sit by his side, so to speak. And there's a mini Shredder sitting inside of this armor toy.
And I don't want to assume, but being a battle beast and a transformer collector, and this one clicks, right?
Oh, definitely. This one is just so cool. The playability. You talk about playability and things. You've essentially got 2 toys in one here, and you can, it's sort of that power up. That I'm losing the battle. I'm just gonna, click my fingers and power up, and all of a sudden I'm good for another few rounds, so to speak. So
chrome things and silver things and golden things, sometimes they have a very strong effect.
Yes, and very prone to wears as well. So there's always
back.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So definitely this is so eye-catching, because he's 90% chrome and catches your eye. It's just fantastic. Love him.
I can tell that you like it. So 1995, let's go deep into the dark spot. Super Devil Shredder. So another one where they transform. So this one is again very depicted in the Japanese cartoons and things that they did. And he has also a transforming feature. He transforms into a dragon. Right, so you can see the wings and things on here. He puts on a chest plate. This sword becomes his tail. He's got a flipping up dragon head that comes out of his back and things, and he's just epic. Again, my passion for Transformers translates into this toy. But this one does not look anywhere near the original line. The one that I remember, the one that not even the movie type. This is a futuristic maybe type of approach. Even though we're talking about 1995.
Yeah, they're clutching at straws here now, and this one actually came released in a box rather than a clamshell, which is something a bit different, and pretty much Japanese release only. So I don't think it got a wider.
This was only available in Japan.
Correct, I believe so. Yes, yes.
Okay.
So this is not on the list of a lot of main collectors, because it didn't get a widespread release. And they also, because in this cartoon he transforms or is depicted in a all black suit. So we've got Dark Devil Shredder, which is all black, essentially same mold, all black, but the wings and things glow in the dark, which is pretty epic. He's got a drill weapon as well, which this one doesn't, and all black and glow in the dark wings.
So it's,
He's
so it's
on
a
my wish
variant.
list.
It's not necessarily a variant. It's just a different mold, but a completely different everything, right?
Yes, correct.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So
very cool.
let's jump. I'm glad that you like it. I truly enjoy, even if I don't resonate with the line, I truly enjoy it when someone is so passionate about their toys, because I like toys in general.
Yeah,
But,
for sure.
Let's move to 1997, and we're talking about a grail of yours.
Yes, yeah. So the grail of mine is none other than Tyranno Shredder. So if you can imagine Shredder mutating with the T-Rex, that's what Shredder looks like. He's just absolutely fantastic. I had the opportunity years ago to buy a carded one, and I didn't think that the price warranted the it. However, boy, was I wrong, because he's just shot up in value exponentially.
How much are we
since
talking
then.
about nowadays?
So now I recently, so probably last year, I saw a loose one with all three weapons go exceed $600-700 or something Australian. So just blown the my budget out of the water. So
I bet everyone's budget. That's how costs the equivalent of a snake mountain.
Yeah. So I just I can't justify that much money, and he's also one of those toys where you just can't. You search Tyranno Shredder up on eBay, and he just doesn't show up. So
and why is he so special?
It's because he's released at the dying end of the line. So 1997. This is essentially when they're wrapping up the toy line. So because they're wrapping up the toy line, they didn't get the wide quantity of the other figures did, so to speak. So very low production run, and just he's just something so different. Like, we got turtles with dinosaurs. There's a line with the turtles, sort of cavemen turtles that came with little dinosaurs. This is turtles becoming dinosaurs. So you've got Leo Ankylo, which is Leo as an Ankylosaurus, Don as a pterodactyl, I think Mikey's a triceratops, and Raphael's something else, a dinosaur or something. And they're just such low production runs and things. This Tyranno Shredder has very prone to his tail breaking. His jaw has a snapping, an opening effect, which sometimes I've seen jaws missing and things from the loose toy, but even they go for over $100, even broken and things, because they're so obscure.
Wow. And at the end, it was also the end of the line, like you said, right?
Correct.
They were already the last bullets.
They were wrapping up the toy line. Obviously the Turtle Mania was slowing down, and they were running out of ideas. And this was
1997. It was a long run, if you think about it.
Yeah, 9 years deep into the toy line.
But in the same year, they have one that I find really, really interesting.
So we've got Stretch Super Shredder, which is, if you can imagine Stretch Armstrong for the famous 80s Stretch Armstrong, this is a Stretch Shredder version of that. And he's depicted in his Super Shredder outfit with the larger helmet, the purple garb and things like that. And he's just hilarious looking. Looks like a rag doll sitting on your shelf.
Like a stretch figure. I mean, they
exactly. Yeah.
It is.
And he doesn't go for very much, because I dare say he's just not wanted as much as the other toys. So
now he's not wanted now, but I can assure you that down the road it's going to be. It's just the same thing that happened with Star Wars and droids. They were only clearance beings, and nobody wanted them. And now, good luck if you find one for less than $500.
Yes, 100% agree. Yeah.
Right. So, do you consider that wraps up this journey into time, or is there a modern version that deserves a mention?
a NECA comic book version of Shredder, of how he was depicted in the comic book line. So absolutely sensational. This is in his maroon garbs and things. He's got the dark look, so he doesn't have pupils in his eyes. He's got the white slits and things. Very amazing. Comic book accurate, and he came in a.
How come he's not in the iconic pose?
You could pose him like that with the beautiful articulation that NECA has. You could come very close to posing him like that, but there's just something nice to have him standing tall, pretty, at the ready, guiding his soldiers out to war, so to speak, to attack the turtles. So
it looks amazing.
He is fantastic, and he doesn't actually reside in the toy room. He sits in my lounge room because I hold him so high.
It's
so
one of the favorites
I'm allowed,
for sure. Then
I'm allowed to have a shelf in the lounge room. So yeah, he gets a special spot in there.
Your wife is an angel, man.
Thank you. Second, I'd like to call out the Toon Turtles version, also from NECA, and he is just fantastic. So this is the ultimate depiction of what we saw, what we grew up with in the cartoon. What everybody, you talk Shredder and things, most of the viewers and things will, understand this is the most iconic Shredder build.
Yeah. It resembles the cartoon. It resembles that emotional journey back into when you were sitting down in front of the TV, for sure. And it looks amazing. That figure looks amazing. Yeah, so he's really cool. And, again, NECA's a beautiful articulation. You can get some amazing poses out of him. And, different hands and things, you can really switch it up, so to speak. And the pinnacle, the one that I've got only recently, and I've got him in quarter scale and 6-inch, and that is, of course, the 1990 depiction of movie Shredder. The movie absolutely fantastic, yeah. Yeah, that makes me do the vanilla eyes, like,
for sure. So I've got him holding his staff here, ready to fight Splinter on top of the rooftop and things. He does come with a big cape and stuff that I've got on my quarter scale, but to change it up, I wanted to have him capeless for the 6-inch version. And this is, jumped straight out of the movie screen. This is just perfect resemblance. It looks amazing. And everything.
It looks amazing.
Yeah, and as NECA does, they've teased us Super Shredder and things to look forward to in the near future. So
that was going to be my next question. What do you think it's for you in the future as a Shredder collector?
Yeah, so we've got Super Shredder coming out for the from NECA, which is in a bigger scale than these regular 6 or 7-inch versions. So I'm really excited for that. I haven't seen him standing next to another turtle or something from the movie, so I can't envision how well he sits. How much taller he is. So that's going to be exciting to when we discover that scale. Height. I do hope they make a movie 2, Secret of the Ooze Shredder, because he wore he wore a purple outfit rather than a maroon outfit in Secret of the Ooze, and he had little jagged spikes like we saw on the Super Shredder toy. He has more of a saw blade spike look instead of a clean look along his armor and things on it, especially on his helmet. So pretty excited to once they unveil that.
Do you have room for these new figures?
I will always make room for Shredder. So
what do you do? You take things off, you put things in bin. How do you make room?
You'll be amazed how much room I can find in an already overcrammed toy room. I've got a little movie shelf of turtle figures that I've had dedicated, ready for them to be released. So that shelf has been.
I remember seeing that.
That shelf is slowly being filled over time, and we'll just make way as time goes on. Yeah.
So there's this funny story that I just want to bring up, and this is just a personal story. When the arcade game was at the hype, I remember this street mall that I used to go, that had an arcade place, and one of the popular games during those years, one of the popular games was the Turtles. And there was this kid who came up with this urban legend that became a big thing in my city, that he said that he traveled to, I don't know, I can't remember this, like he went to New York or LA or something like that. And he saw a version of the game when you can actually play as Shredder and play against the Turtles. And some of us spent years trying to find that game that obviously didn't exist. But that train of thought, that memory was the catalyst to pick this subject, because how important, how nice happens to be the bad guy when you achieve that in a storytelling, that you can resonate with the guy that is supposed to be hated. I think you have something in your hand that is powerful. And of course, they've been milking that cow for many, many years, so they obviously hit the nail. What's your final statement for today's episode? And I sincerely hope that we get to talk in the future about the myriad of things that we can talk. But what's your closing statement for Shredder today?
For Shredder, I don't like how he's been depicted in the Rise of the Turtles line, so I'm not going to pursue that one. He looks like a bit of a wacky giraffe-looking armored character. I don't know. So I'm a bit disappointed to see that, but I just hope that the next reiteration of the Turtles, Shredder, is then depicted in a more original tone, and I hope there's another movie coming out, so to speak, because he was skipped for the TMNT, the 2007 film. He was referenced but never released. Never sort of, it wasn't a highlight. So I really hope that the next reiteration of the Turtles, whatever it may be, whether it's a movie or a cartoon or whatever, they bring him back and put him front and center and have him as the enemy of the Turtles and kick it all off again. The IDW comic series that's coming currently, is just doing such an amazing job of that. I loved the 2003 cartoon version where they, spoiler alert, they depicted him as an Utrom and thing. That just absolutely blew my mind. Nice. Because as a big fan of the Mirage comics and having read all them by the time the 2003 cartoon, I could see the storyline being fleshed out and things from the comic books, but then they put in that huge curveball in there, and it kept me interested for many years after that. So loved that.
So did you like the Michaels Bay movie?
He was definitely in the first one they tried to make him a bit, the bad guy and things like that. But in the second one, definitely the camera focused on Rocksteady and Bebop, and he was pushed to the side to make way for Krang as well, which was very unfortunate in my opinion. So no, I'm not hugely excited. I didn't like how armored he looked, more mech armor than samurai armor. Right. And I know I've spoken about how much I love some of these toys and things, but it's a big difference seeing one depiction of Shredder on screen versus 14 toys I have in my hands around me. So well, they've got to
Thank you so much for being here tonight. Where can we find you online?
So Toy Power Podcast, look us up. We're as I said, we're quite deep into the podcasting series. So thank you. So weekly episode. My handle on Instagram is Shredder1982. Find me on there, and that's pretty much me in a nutshell. So
that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I've really enjoyed our chat, and I don't even want to tease, but there's more coming in the near future that you're all gonna get to see, not just about Ben, but about Australia in general, right?
Yes.
So, well, I sincerely hope that you come again to the show and we can talk about
definitely
cool stuff. But thank you again. Say hi to your co-host, and good journey.
Good journey.
Bye. Please remember that all of these episodes were taped during the crazy 2020 pandemic while we were all locked down and going nuts. So bear with us. Also, and I found out not so long ago, so don't feel bad, that if you hit the bell below, like, you know, the little tiny icon that looks like a bell, YouTube automatically will let you know when the next episode is about to come out. So make it easy, just hit the bell. Like, subscribe, all of that stuff, but hit the bell. The force is back on chats. Mike Havens from the amazing ICC comes blasting through the commissary of the Death Stars and pretty much to talk about what it takes to create a convention from zero to success. He's the convention creator of one of the most iconic nowadays, one of the most iconic Star Wars fan gatherings in the country. I really had a lot of fun taping this one. You don't want to miss it.
Plastic Chats is a series of special interviews that complements the Plastic Crack documentary series. The interviews are made with informational, entertainment, and educational purposes. Neither this short nor Plastic Crack documentary series are sponsored or endorsed by the companies or brands mentioned in this episode. The comments made on this episode do not reflect the point of view of the production company of these series or employees and associates. Help us get found. Click on those 5 stars and stay tuned for the next episode of Plastic Chats.